This story begins in a remote African village in the country of Tanzania, thousands of miles away from Minnesota, hundreds of miles away from the nearest city or doctor. It's a place untouched by time.
I
we are the farmers.
The Maasai men in Elizabeth's tribe watch their livestock while women take care of other tasks. But one of the most important jobs that Elizabeth has is to have children, which she can't do anymore because of a childbirth complication that she's suffering from called obstetric fistula. It happens when the baby can't pass through the birth canal and it gets stuck there for several days to a week. The baby doesn't survive, and the woman is left with a bladder that leaks. They immediately become social outcasts.
To the society, people are pointing fingers to the women like me.
In the United States and most advanced countries in the world, obstetric fistula doesn't happen anymore. Doctors would perform a C-section and get the baby out. But in places like Africa and Asia, women simply don't have access to medical care. For Elizabeth to get to a doctor, she has to ride several kilometers down a dusty road on a motorcycle. And once they've made it past all the roadblocks that they encounter in rural Africa, Elizabeth hops a taxi bus with her husband and heads for a hospital in Arusha, a 5 to 6 hour drive depending on how many people that they pick up along the way. It's there that she can get a free surgery to fix her obstetric fistula at Celian Lutheran Hospital. But few women know about it. Most are embarrassed to admit that they can't hold their bladder.
The problem of being wet is making me feel ashamed and feel that I cannot control myself even in front of my kids. Because when I just stand up, I see my bed is wet. And if I try to walk, my walking are wet.
These are women who are really suffering from something that's not their fault at all. And so that interested me in how can I help them.
Enter Priyanka Gupta, Peter Melkert, and their Minnesota-based group called Medical Simulation International. Melkert's been using personal time for over a decade to travel abroad to help treat patients and help train local doctors.
But we are always asked, can you please bring somebody to help us with the problem of obstetrical fistula? And I remember the first time I heard that, I didn't know what obstetrical fistula was. What is that? Why didn't I learn about that in medical school?
It's not uncommon for American doctors to travel to the developing world and volunteer their time to help. But the fact of the matter is, they can only do so much while they're here. It's estimated that between 50,000 to 100,000 women develop fistula every year. And that's what makes Dr. Melkert and his team different. They aren't in Africa to perform surgery, but to shoot video. It's part of an interactive computer simulation program they're developing that'll help train more African doctors to do the fistula surgery.
To help us integrate recordings of live video of surgical procedures into a software platform that will be interactive, just like a video game. For example, there are flight simulators which work on a simple home computer that can train pilots to fly, or to fly better, or to fly more safely. So our project is similar to a flight simulator, which the program requires directional input from the player. So we're just training physicians, not pilots.
Dr. Andrew Browning heads up the fistula program at Celian Lutheran Hospital.
There are not a lot of doctors doing this surgery.
Full-time, I'll count them up. So full-time there's about 10.
10 doctors.
Yeah.
10 doctors on the entire continent of Africa devoted to full-time fistula repair. And now you see why this high-tech humanitarian mission could have such a huge impact.
There's just not enough people that know how to do it to take care of the work that's out there. So really we're only scratching the surface. What's desperately needed is more training, more physicians, and the ability to do that training faster.
These Minnesotans think they're on to something pretty special.
I didn't want to just be somebody who came in for a week and fixed a few fistulas and left. You know, that's great to do, but I wanted to do something that could be more lasting and really help people. You know, the sort of the adage, teach a man to fish and you feed a village. So it's the same idea.
Did she have a cough? Stepping up and doing the right thing.
There's something special about Minnesotans. There's the Minnesota nice, and it's true.
To help fistula patients like Elizabeth get their lives back.
Thank you. Thank you.